Oh, hey everybody. Question. What do you do if you're in a fishing bar and a one-pernetter buys your wife or girlfriend a drink? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to the end of the video to find out.
Damn it!
I wear these after a hard night of drinking. I find that they take the edge off my hangover. Cool shit, huh? I got these at an antique shop. So recently I conducted a poll on my Facebook page to see who wanted me to talk about fishing cuts, vests, whatever you want to call it, proper placement of patches, etiquette when it comes to patches and dealing with one per net members and things like that. So it was a good response. 1/14 of you responded. That's one out of my 14 subscribers, and he said run with it. So I'm going to run with it. Recently I switched from a leather cut to a canvas fishing cut because traditionally they said leather kept you drier when you were fishing in the river, but what I found out was I found that it soaked in the water, and when you got out it weighed a damn ton, okay? And then it would shrink, and Mrs. Boomer kept telling me I was getting fat because the cut was shrinking around my gut. So I switched to canvas. Now I had to cover over some key patches because of strict social media rules with my club. They don't allow me to disclose them. It is the club that shall remain nameless. So I strategically put duct tape over the patches here. So this is my canvas cut. I guess basically it's stricter than I remember, but basically my name would go here, my title, if you're president, vice president, sturgeon at arms, and then you have various patches that you put on, maybe your favorite fishing lure, maybe Cabela's, maybe the Shakespeare ugly stick, which I like. I think they should rename it the angry stick. And then there's the back. Okay, I can show you the back because I'll tell you the story first. I was fishing in an undisclosed area behind my upstate cottage and having a good time, and all of a sudden a group of one-pernetters moved in, okay? A one-pernet club started fishing near me, and this big guy approached me. And I'm thinking, cool, we're going to chat, we're going to fish, we're going to talk about fishing poles, things like that. And he was the president, and I knew that because it said president right here. And his river name was Lips, and he was a big guy. But he didn't want to chat. He wanted my cut. He said, hey, give me your cut. I said, I ain't giving you my cut. You never give your cut up to anybody. Well, I was sadly mistaken because before I knew what was happening, I was hit in the back of the head with a large bass and held underwater. Okay, and just when I thought I was going to die under there, the other guy pulls me up. Never saw his face. Don't know his title. He may have been a prospect doing what his sponsor told him to do. And here President Lips is holding my cut saying, you're right, you don't have to give it to us, and he handed it back. I'm like, okay, I paid the price. They held me under. I talked to some crawdads while I was down there. But later on when I got back, I realized that they had ripped my club set off. And the club set basically is a top rocker. It's going to have the name of the fishing club, the FC. Middle insignia. Mine was like kind of a fish. And then the bottom rocker, which is your territory. Okay? So basically, if you belong to an FC, their motto is, your back belongs to us. We got your back, which means you do not put any other patches but the club set on the back. Now the front, you can do pretty much anything you want, except for the fact you're going to have your river name here, angry boomer. You can have various patches, your favorite fishing lures, your favorite reel, your favorite rod, and things like that. And I like to go to Cabela's or use Amazon and find some neat patches. But sometimes if you go to like Sturgeon, to the big fishing rally, you can get a patch that says you're at Beaver Bar, the Iron Horse, things like that. But you have to be careful because you'll be tempted to buy all kinds of patches down there. But oh, I want to show you something before I talk about that. The neat thing about the canvas cut is it has laces on the side. You can open them up, and if you're on a boat going very fast, you unzip and the wind will sort of go inside your cut and come out this opening on the side and keep you cool. So it's a little bit of an improvement over my leather cut. But anyway, you find yourself down in Sturgeon at the big fishing rally, and there's going to be this tent. And it always seems to be that way on everyone else's videos. You know, and you go inside and there are patches galore. And you're going to be tempted to just decorate yourself to the nines, okay? One of the patches I have, which is really cool, over here, I don't know why I covered it up, but it's for lost brothers in the river, you know, drowned brothers, people who trip in the river, they get washed downstream, and basically I like to put a fish here with an X over their eyes, okay, and it's sort of a memorial fishing patch for brothers who got swept downstream. And they may not have even been killed, we just never heard from them again. They may have joined another FC down in Delaware somewhere, because this river goes all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay. It's a very long river. But anyway, back to Sturgeon. There's this tent, and you're going to be like a kid in a candy store when you go in there. There's going to be patches of manufacturers, patches of places, patches for the bars down there. But there's going to be other patches that you might be tempted to buy and don't do it. I mean, there's going to be people out there saying, I could do whatever I want. My mom said I could get any patch I want on my cut. Well, run with that, kid, and see where it gets you. One patch you want to avoid is the 1 per net patch. It is a blue diamond, little net insignia, and it says 1 per net on it. If you wear that and you're not a 1 per netter, you don't belong to a 1 per net fishing club, but you come upon them, they're going to ask you about that. And if you don't have the right answer, you're going to have to either surrender your cut, they're going to rip it off you, or they're going to do what they did to me, and they're going to have you conversate with the fish and the crawdads under the water, okay? Another patch people buy, and the outcome can be various. It looks like a club set. It has a top rocker, middle insignia, bottom rocker. It says, Lone Fisherman, No Club. First off, why do you want to announce to the world that you fish alone? Who gives a damn crap? Alright? You want to fish alone, fish alone. The problem with that is it looks like an FC club set on the back. And you could run into trouble if you're fishing somewhere in another FC's territory and they come up and they ask you questions, because the clubs are sort of certified, okay? Even if you're starting a new club, you need to get permission from like the 5 families, the 5 I think they're not godfathers, they're codfathers. You got to talk to the codfathers of the 5 main fishing club families, and they're going to get together and they're going to smoke fish. I like smoked fish, but they're hard as hell to get lit. And they're going to decide whether you can start a club. But Lone Fisherman, No Club? Why would you even wear that? Okay? Why do you need people to know that you fish alone? Why don't you all get together and just get permission to start a club? But that would kind of defeat the purpose of the patch. So, if you want to join an FC and you want to be a 1 per netter, here's what you need to do. First thing is, you need to become a hang-around. Alright? A hang-around is when you go down, you find out where these cats are fishing, and you go and you just hang around the bank. You don't approach them. You don't throw yourself at them. You know, you wait for them to approach you. And if you're lucky, someone will come out of the water and start talking to you. And when they offer you a hand, it has to be firm. No limp fish handshakes, all right? Or they'll toss you on the river, or they'll put you under. If they like you, they'll accept you as a hang-around. You may be a hang-around for multiple fishing seasons, you know, but you become a friend of the club. They invite you to the prominent, you know, their fishing bars, some of their meetings, things like that. They might invite you to fish along with them sometimes and things like that. And if they really like you, and if you stand out to one member, you may be approached and he may sponsor you as what's called a prospect. And that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because you're one step closer to becoming a full patch member of the FC. You're going to get like a bottom rocker that says prospect. Some clubs will give you the insignia, or maybe a different insignia that denotes prospect, fishing prospect, and then no top rocker. It's not going to have like the club name up top, okay? The bad part is you belong to that sponsor 24/7. If he calls you at 2 in the morning and says, go get me bait, you get out of bed, you leave your wife, your kids, your dog, your fish, your turtle, whatever, and you go and you buy that cat baits. He's your sponsor if you want to be fully patched someday. If you come back with worms and you wanted minnows, you got to go back and get him minnows. If the store's closed, he's going to give you a crowbar and a lockpick set, because you better bring back those minnows. All right? Now, one day, you may become a fully patched member. They may invite you down the river, but start toying with you a little bit, you know? They'll ask you some questions like, where were you last night? I saw you fishing in a pond somewhere. You know, we don't fish in ponds. We're not ponders, you know. We saw you hanging out with a rival group. We saw you hanging out with Lips' old lady. And you're going to get scared because they're all going to be around you. You think you're going to just be drowned on the spot. And then maybe they'll come up behind you and hold you under and make you think they're about to kill you and send you down to the Chesapeake Bay. And then they pull you up. Congratulations. And they hand you the rest of the patch set. And they say you got 5 minutes to sew it on. And they give you some fishing line. And they give you a hook. And you got to straighten the hook out. And you got to make a needle. And you got to sew this thing on. And then it's a big celebration. But then you have to buy a net. If you want to be a one per netter, you have to have your own net. Okay? Every man nets his own fish. If you ask a fellow club member to net your fish, you risk a beatdown. You're responsible for your net. I don't care how big the fish is, you net your own fish. Because if you ask a fellow member to net your fish, they may demote you down back to a prospect and take those patches back. Or worse, they can make you a pass-around. Now a pass-around is something you do not want to be, all right? Because they only view you for one thing. And brother, when they get done with you, you're going to be bleeding out of the wrong end of your fingertips when you get done tying on their lures. Because he'll be like, hey, pass around, tie on my lure. And just as soon as you get done, he's going to pass you on to another guy. Tie on my lure, tie on my lure. And at the end of the day, your fingers are going to be bleeding. So please, get your own net. You want to be a one per netter, net your own fish. One net per man, one fish per man. I hope this video has been informative. Until then, thanks for watching, and keep the top side of your dealio up.